Hi, my name is Jerry and I collect 1970s toys. Of course, most of that is toy soldiers, and that's what this video is all about. Today I'm having a look at this Airfix British Infantry in 1/32 scale, and this is a strange little set. And I say that not because because British infantry is not strange, it's very normal. But that's also what makes this strange, because Airfix started releasing the 1/32 scale sets in 1969, and then there was German infantry and there was US infantry. And of course, there was British paratroopers and British commandos, but there wasn't a British infantry set. As always in my videos, we'll have a look at the figures, we'll have a look at the boxes. This time there's only one box for these. And at the end, of course, I'll do the spinning around things with some nice music so you can have a look in your own time. And if you enjoy all this content I do, please subscribe and like. And if you can also share on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, because sharing is caring. It actually boosts my channel quite a bit, so we can reach more people just like us that want to see all this cool stuff. But anyways, back to the set. So there's a few other things that's a little bit weird about the release of this set, and because you know most of the sets in 1/32 scale, of course, were sculpted by Ron Cameron, and they carried over between 1/72 and 1/32 scale sets. And the thing is, you know that in 1973, Airfix released the British Infantry Support Group, but still no infantry. Interestingly enough then, this set was also released in 1973, the HOOO scale British Infantry, also sculpted by Ron Cameron. But there was no transition between having 1/72 and 1/32 scale for some strange reason. But maybe that's a good thing. I don't think this set was one of Ron Cameron's best work. There's a lot of little bit weird poses, and there's a lot of skinny soldiers with tight pants in that set. So luckily enough, the 1980 set is really, really great. Maybe the decision in 1969 not to release a British infantry set was due to the fact that if I look back and I think back on movies from back then, there was, you know, you had US infantry and German infantry and stuff, but you had mostly British commandos and paratroopers. Not many movies featured British infantry. And if you're doing something with toys, as Airfix considered the toy soldiers to be, maybe you look at what's in popular culture at the time, and then you forego the British infantry. So even though they weren't featured in films that much, I mean, they were very, very heavily involved in, let's say, the D-Day landings, where the 3rd Infantry Division landed at Sword Beach, and the 50th Northumbrian Division landed at Gold Beach, and the 15th Scottish Division was involved in Operation Epsom, just to mention a few. So in 1980, Airfix went back to 7 poses per set, the same for the Italian infantry that was released at the same time. Before, you know, the German paratroops, Gebirgsjäger, and some more US paratroopers had a lot more poses. They were released in this one, the 14-piece box, but also 28-piece box, but I only have 2 of the 14-piece boxes. These are not all that expensive on eBay compared to some other sets, even though they're pretty hard to find. And that's strange, because this is a really, really good set. Let me show you the figures. First, for just the basic equipment, as with Airfix, a lot of them wear exactly the same gear. So you got the battle dress, you got the webbing, and you got the Bren gun, machine gun pouches. Nothing else usually on these as far as backpacks and different equipment for different soldiers. So this standing rifleman is kind of a departure for Ron Cameron. It's not an action pose at all like he usually does. You know, a little bit of a more recoil management kind of a stance. This guy's just standing straight up and down. But I really, really like him though. It's just some kind of stoic British stiff upper lip about him. I'm just going to stand there firing my rifle, and I'm not going to make any fuss about it. It's kind of neat. The submachine gunner though, on the other hand, is really cool. What an action pose. He's just firing that Thompson from the hip. Of course, that should have been a Sten gun, but we know by now that Airfix and Ron Cameron, they didn't bother with things as historical correctness. But it's a great little figure, I think. I really like this pose. And this is probably one of the best Bren machine gunners from Airfix. He's so cool. Him as well, just standing there, firing from the hip. He's got a little bit of a slant on the helmet there. It looks really, really neat, I think. The Bren gun, I think, is very well sculpted as well. And then the grenade throwing soldier. Is this one of the best figures Airfix and Ron Cameron ever made? It's maybe the best grenade throwing soldier. He has his rifle in his hand. He just took the grenade out and just chucking it so he could keep firing. This is so good, so much action, what a great figure. Running figure, I guess it's okay, but it lacks a purpose, you know. It's not a great charging figure, it's not a great like reinforcing from the rear kind of a figure. I don't know anyone that runs with their legs this high up. If you're carrying a lot of heavy military equipment, usually your steps are pretty short compared to when you run just out training or something like that, because just everything weighs you down. And it's going to be tough running like this. It's very strange. Talking about strange decisions, here's another one. Including a 2-inch mortar in the set, why not a Piat or something instead? Great to have some indirect fire, but we already have that in the infantry support group. And I'd much rather have a kneeling rifleman than a mortar guy. Last but not least, the officer. Great little figure, a lot of action, but I wish he'd been a little bit more upright, kind of. I'm not sure why he's leaning forward this much. And I like it that Airfix kind of always differentiate the officer here. He's got a cap now, and of course he's got the Webley revolver instead of a rifle or something, a submachine gun. So I really like this. I think this is a great officer in this set. So the box art on this, of course, is not that great, since back then in Europe in 1980 there was a big stink about not depicting war or something like that on toys. So we get the standing rifleman here. I like the design of it anyway, so it's kind of clean and looks good. Some very basic painting instructions on the back, and I really wonder how like a brown box British Infantry in 1/32 scale would have looked, because they had such great action on those boxes. So all in all, a great little set. Kind of late to the party. That's a shame, because I think it would have sold massive if it had been released in 1969 or 1973. Imagine getting the British Infantry Support Group and the infantry at the same time in 1973 with that great target box art. But anyways, that's it for this video. Stick around for the close-ups, like and subscribe and all that good stuff, and I'll catch you guys in another video. Cheers!